I'm here with David Hayter of Metal Gear Solid fame. I mean, a million things we could talk about. You have an incredible career. First question I always like to ask guests is, what connection do you have to the military? Family, friends, anything like that?
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, I'm from Canada, but two of my uncles were fighter pilots, and flew long ago, and so that's pretty much my connection. I mean, I was always enormously proud of them, and it was a cool tradition. But we don't, Canadians don't fight quite as many wars, so it doesn't come up quite as often.
It's smart. It's the right way to do it.
Well, gotta do what you gotta do.
All right, so I have. You are renowned for your work as the voice of Solid Snake in the Metal Gear Solid franchise. What is it like? What has it been like to portray such an iconic character so many years? And how has his journey and the complex storytelling influenced your approach to the character?
Well, that's a complex question.
I like to hit you with the tough stuff.
It's amazing to play this character. Obviously, it's had a huge cultural impact and affects so many people. I meet so many people, especially people in the military, who are fans and have been inspired, and that really means a lot to me. A lot of people tell me they joined the military because of me, and then I'm like, please realize that I'm just in a booth eating muffins, so I hope nobody gets hurt because of that. But I'm so touched by all of the support that I get from my fans in all the branches of the military, and how has it changed? I mean, each game is so complex and goes into so much of this guy's life and his clone father's life, and so it just gets richer and richer with each game. I just understand more and more about the world and the character, and it's an enormous honor to be able to play this part.
Did you think when you started out with the character all the way back then, Metal Gear Solid, that you would end up doing voices for the other versions of him and going so deep into this backstory?
I didn't. I mean, I did know when we recorded the first game that they were going to make it. There was going to be a big game that they were putting a lot into it. I saw the artwork was incredible. So I was a gamer, and I figured, oh, this would be cool. Hopefully people will play it. Maybe there'll be a sequel. I think that's what I thought. And then, but to be here 25 years later and still talking about it, and it's still affecting people, new version of the game coming out, I never anticipated any of this.
I was so fascinated because I looked into your back, your history, your work.
Sure.
So you've also worked as a screenwriter, including writing the screenplay for the first two X-Men films.
Right.
I mean, how does your experience as a writer inform your approach to voice acting and then vice versa?
That's a good question. I think being a writer helps me understand the storytelling better, helps me understand as an actor the beats of the story I need to communicate, and hopefully helps me understand, just the world better, although that is not always the case, because these worlds are a little strange and, sometimes go kind of crazy. Sometimes it's just all in Kojima's head. You have to kind of figure it out, but yeah, I think being a writer gives you a different perspective on acting, certainly, and vice versa.
So, having written X1 and X2, did you, at that time, could ever imagine that we'd be in the heyday of Marvel films and DC films and all these superhero films that are coming out now? Shows like The Boys.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever imagine something like that possible?
I had hoped that would. I mean, I was in these two. I was a part of these two things that sort of changed the culture. So I did Metal Gear, which kind of turned games into giant movies and made them cinematic, and then I got to work on the first X-Men, which I was a huge comic book fan. It was an enormous honor, and really the key to it was we made those movies not as for the first time, people weren't embarrassed about the characters. They weren't it wasn't like Batman and Robin where it was like, we have to make fun of it and put nipples on it or whatever. We were like, no, this is a real story with real characters and a real world. And I thought that people would appreciate it, but I didn't know that it would explode like this. I mean, it's been amazing.
So I'll give you one last one. I know people want to talk to you.
Oh, that's right.
You've been involved in various video games, animated series. How do you approach creating distinct voices for different characters? And then what are some of the challenges and rewards of doing that?
These are good questions. Well, you know, the first thing I do is I look at the picture. So, you know, I played this guy, and this guy is young and cocky and beautiful, and so, you know, so he had, and I was young, so it was like, it was this kind of voice. Snake, you know, was beat down and already retired and didn't want to come back, and so I felt like he had to have a bunch of miles of bad road behind him. So it's really a matter of looking at the character, looking at their energy, and just trying to match that with whatever you can bring to the part.
Last thing, anything you want the folks at home to be looking out for you so they can support your work?
Well, I mean, I hope that they play the Metal Gear Delta, and I hope that they enjoy that, that it creates a new generation of fans for Metal Gear. Watch my show Warrior Nun on Netflix. I'm very proud of that I did as a writer, and I've got a new game, Synapse, coming out for VR, which I'm very proud of. So, you know, check those things out, and to all of my friends in the military, you know, stay safe, come back home, and you're pretty good.